Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest Ghost and Horror Stories Encounters video. I thought I would mix this one in here while I'm continuing with your cryptids and monster suggestions. Please keep them coming. I'm going to go ahead and wrap these up pretty soon. This was actually an encounter that I read there on the Reddit website back when I was on vacation just recently there in Las Vegas. So I screenshot it and then now I'm sharing it here because I definitely felt it would be something interesting to showcase to all my fans out here. Pretty creepy encounter. It comes from the subreddit called Humanoid Encounters. When I was reading it, it definitely falls into several categories. It could be paranormal, could be ghosts and spirits, could even be something on lines of cryptids. More on that here in just a moment. And it could even involve an encounter with the devil himself. So lots of different categories to showcase. It comes from a user by the name of Melodious Luna, and they titled theirs as Black Trench Coat, Bowler Hat, and Red Eyes on Route 66. So let's go ahead and let's share this encounter here. Let me know what you guys and gals think about it in particular. I'm going to go ahead and give my own comments on it too. So here's essentially what they stated. Hi guys, so before I start this post, I will say that I was very young, but my mother recalls the experience quite clearly. I'm not really into cryptozoology at all, but I'm curious if this is a common sighting or what exactly my mother and father and I experienced. So this was along Route 66 going from Texas into New Mexico. We were heading to my great grandfather's funeral back in 2005 in the middle of summer, and I was 10 at the time. The sun was starting to set, and I remember us talking. I'm eating a Happy Meal that they bought me at the time, and we were just swapping stories and having a good time. They made me this little cubby-like area in the trunk for me to lay down in, color, etc. But most of the trip was spent just looking out the window, watching things pass by. While my parents were talking and the radio was on, I was just watching the world pass by, but I remember very clearly seeing a man standing and staring at cars. He wore a black trench coat, bowler, or perhaps a top hat, a black beard, but the part I remember the most vividly was bright, glowing red eyes. I pointed it out to my mom, who was distracted at the time, having not seen it. Well, a couple of hours go by, and I'm still looking out my window. I made a little game for myself to see if I could count how many birds I could spot along the way, and the sun was now starting to set. Next thing I know, I see the same dude just ahead of us, but because of the dark, the eyes were even more intense. My mom got a little concerned about it and told my dad to speed up. Eventually, fatigue set in, and we found a little rest stop. It was pitch black there, the kind of dark you can't even see your own feet in without a light, and we were all trying to sleep. I had to go to the bathroom, and my dad walked out with me as I was still rather freaked out from the sighting earlier, worried that this guy would come grab me. As we got out of the car, I remember my father staring off into the distance and told me to hurry up, though keeping his usual calm demeanor. When I finished and got back into the car, he started it and we took off again, driving to stay in a motel instead. I asked him and my mother about it recently as we were reminiscing together about trips we've taken. When I asked my dad why he had us go to a motel, he claimed it was because he saw the same pair of eyes staring at us from a hill near where we were above a rocky outcrop. Now, does anyone have any ideas or stories as to what exactly this could have been? I remember the eyes so vividly, it's burned into my mind, as well as him being out in the desert heat with a heavy trench coat and who knows what else. My dad swears it was the devil. My mom thinks it was a chupacabra of some sorts. I myself am not so sure. Any thoughts would be appreciated. As I said, this was over 19 years ago, and I haven't seen anything since, as I live far away from Route 66 now. Then that's it. That's everything from this user, Melodious Luna. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that here. Creepy encounter, right? Here you have a situation where this user, who was very young at the time, was basically traveling with his family. You can just imagine like all the endless movies that you see back in the 80s whenever it showcased families in the station wagon heading through some long stretch of highway out in the middle of nowhere. Well, essentially, that's what was happening here. They were going on Route 66, somewhere from Texas into New Mexico. So I don't have much familiarity with Route 66, but I've definitely been in the Nevada area in those locations where it's long stretches of highway into the middle of nowhere. That user was right. And at night, it is pitch black out there. I mean, you don't, if you live in the city, you have no idea essentially how dark it can get out there if there's no starlight, like if everything is covered. There's absolutely no lights, no highway lights, no lights from cars, no starlight, nothing. It is completely black. The closest encounter that I've had to that, it was over at Good Springs, Nevada. I remember there was just endless landscape in the middle of the night looking just pitch black. You can't see anything out there. It was pretty creepy because I could hear the coyotes in the background. They could see me because of their amazing eyes, but I couldn't see them. And that was just pretty unsettling just to be out there in the middle of nothing, just surrounded by complete pitch blackness. So the way this user described things, I could totally picture that in my mind. And then lo and behold, as they were driving, that's when he saw what he stated was a man. Now it looked like this man was just standing there. I don't know if it was on the side of the road, like on the service lane, or if they were standing like next to some area, maybe some stop sign or something else that contain some area to rest at, a little bench, who knows. But they were just standing there staring at cars, and they described him as wearing a black trench coat. He had on a bowler hat, maybe even like a little top hat, and then he had a thick black beard. And then, of course, the most prominent thing were these bright glowing red eyes. Some of the comments afterward, the same user stated that it looks like they had pretty normal skin. Like it looked like it was a person. It wasn't a shadow person, as some of the other people were commenting. In fact, he corrected them on that. He said that he looked like a regular person, but it was more along the lines of just eerie, especially obviously with those red eyes. And so it was just staring at them as they were driving by. And then at a certain point, they went to another stop or another area that they drove past, and there he was again. He was there looking at them. And now the mother saw him, and it seemed like the dad kind of was aware the whole time, but he was playing it cool to essentially keep the family at peace, not frighten them. In other words, he was doing the right thing when it came to that. And then they ended up stopping on a rest stop. And we've done that before in the past. Sometimes, me and my family, we traveled throughout certain areas way back when. And again, pitch black darkness out there. There's rest stops, and there you can definitely stop there, but you're going to be in the middle of nowhere again, surrounded by pitch black darkness. And so when he went to essentially use the restroom, this little boy did, that's when the father told him to hurry up, not telling him at the time, and this was the creepiest part, not telling him that the father could see those same eyes, those same burning eyes in the background. Did anybody else get shivers whenever you heard that part for the first time? I did. He could see those eyes in the far background. He knew that they were again belonging to that mysterious man. How? This mysterious man was again in front of them, now by their area, even though they were traveling, what, 60, 70 miles an hour, going from one point to another. This man was just standing still at those other points, but now he was there with them. How that happens, who knows? But that's where it takes again another mystical side. And so he didn't want to worry the boys, so he just told him to hurry up. I know it was only later on that he told him that he saw those eyes. Now, as far as what this man was, the dad swears that it was the devil. For some reason, the mom thought it was a chupacabra. I don't know how you could mistake a chupacabra, which is normally seen like a lizard-like dog that's running on all fours, for something, or sometimes on its hind legs, for something looking like a walking man with a beard. But that's what the mom says, and then the user doesn't know exactly what it was. They were thinking that maybe it could be something paranormal related, but who knows. But let me know what you guys and gals think. What was this thing? Was it the actual devil? Somebody posted on the comments too, were they carrying a briefcase? Because apparently there's multiple sightings, similar sightings of this, kind of like with the Men in Black. Here in this case, it's the man in the black trench coat and top hat. Someone else saw them. They said that they were somewhere there in Las Cruces, they were driving towards an area, and they mentioned that there was involving a briefcase. So, are there multiple of these? Who knows? We shall see. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.